You're listening to Breaking Up with Bondage, the podcast with Shaquenia Monique. Hello. You are listening to Breaking Up with Bondage, the podcast with your host, yours truly, Shaquenia Monique. And I am so grateful to have all of you here today. Listen, you are going to want to stay tuned today. This one is money in the bank. It is tea in the cup, and it is piping hot today. Come on here, baby. I got the goal with me today. Come listen.
This introduction
today. Yes, it's the one. I am so excited about this one today. Let me introduce my panel. Listen, today's title is Waiting and Worth It. Oh, come on here. I know somebody just got mad about that thing. Waiting and worth it. I know it sounds so crazy, but waiting really is worth it. But let's be clear, it's hard, it's arduous, it's annoying. Listen, but it is definitely worth it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all of it. Let me introduce my guest to you today. Now, look at here. One of them y'all already know. If y'all can stop calling me about this one and texting me about this one, yes, her face is familiar. Yes, she's from episode 2. Yes, we brought her on back. Kayy Hudgens ran on back for the 1 time and the 2 time. We had to bring her back. I told you that she would. Kayy, say hi to the peoples.
Hello. I just want to say that this isn't my last time, but hello, everybody.
At some point, she's going to be the whole co-host for the show. Like, she put in a recipe and everything, y'all.
Okay. So listen, I am extra ready for today. I just turned 29 yesterday.
Yes,
so
happy birthday.
Okay, I ain't that old girl from the last episode.
That part.
This 25.
That part. Coming in next to Kayy. Listen.
This is 25 because 29 is too close to 30. Okay.
That's right.
Get all that wisdom. Look, coming in next to Kayy. We have my love. Y'all already know. We have my love. This one right here, who I have spoiled ridiculously. It makes absolutely no sense. She gave me this little smile and get anything she wants from me. She has just been one of my dear sisters, one of my loves for all of these years. I was just in her wedding.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely amazing. I cried my whole little eyeballs out. I want you guys to help me welcome Mrs. LaKeysha Here to the show. Keisha, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone.
We are so glad to have you here.
I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy to be here. I've always wanted to participate in one of these podcasts, and I love my queen bee. I call her Queen Bee, but I'm so happy to be here and just participate with all you ladies. And I'm over 30. I say we ain't gonna say I ain't my 29th birthday. I say that much.
We're not here giving ages, okay?
We're not.
I'm way closer to 50 than I am to 30. Y'all might as well be quiet with it, okay?
You better enjoy that 29, girl. You better live that whole 29.
And last but definitely not least, listen, I met this young lady. She walked down into a church service we were having, and she walked over to me and asked me if I did vocal coaching. And I said, well, I do. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I do. And she came for her first coaching session, and y'all know how it works, right? I don't even think we did any vocal lessons that day.
That was a whole ministry.
And that thing went all the way to the left. And y'all know how it go. It was tears and snuffles and tissues.
Yes.
The Lord allowed me to see her, and I poured into her, and we have just been connected at the hip ever since. If you came to that fundraising event that I did when I was going to go to Israel, she was one of my background singers. Yes. She danced at that event. Listen, she is also newly married. She just had a beautiful baby boy, and y'all heard
Congratulations.
right now. Everybody say hi to Mrs. Alisha. Folks, Alisha, say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone. Yes, just as she said, oh my goodness, it was supposed to be a vocal lesson and turned into a whole ministering session. And that has been our relationship. It's like we link up and it's just tears and praying
every time.
So I love it. And when she asked me to come on, she's like, pray about it. I'm like, I'm in. You asked, I am in. So I'm happy to be here. I can't wait to jump into the conversation. Yeah. So
I am, if you can't tell, I am super excited about this panel of ladies. Listen, this topic is near and dear to my heart because we don't like to talk about stuff for real in the body of Christ. Like we like to hide stuff and veil it over and sugarcoat it and make it cute. But listen, when you live in it, it's not cute. When you live in it, it's not sugarcoated. When you live in it, it's real. It's real. Those tears are real. Those knots in the pit of your belly are real. What you're feeling is real. That loneliness, that anger, all of that stuff is real. And that's what we need to talk about because people need to understand that it's okay to have those real feelings. You know how we know it's okay? Because David, baby, go read those Psalms. We know it's okay because David let you know how long, Lord, I got to keep going through this stuff. And so we want to talk about some of that stuff today. But y'all know what happens first. First, we have to have the affirmation of the week. This gonna be good, y'all, because this might be the biggest mic toss we ever had. Y'all know my affirmation is interactive. So I do a mic toss. This is the first time for a couple of you, KO Pro. So now I started off, I say that I am, and then I throw it to you, and you guys gonna have to configure it and throw it back to me. So Keisha, I'm gonna throw it to you first. I want you to throw it to Kay. Kay, I want you to throw it to Alisha. And I'm gonna grab that thing and we're gonna see what we got. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
I
am
a resilient.
Well, goodness. All right.
Come on.
I am resilient and patient for
the process of the journey.
Ooh. I am resilient and patient for the process of the journey. Come on, let me say one more time. I am resilient and patient for the process of the journey. Now, come on, listeners. Y'all know what we do. I want you to come on and stand barefooted and put your feet all the way down and get in front of your mirror. Open your eyes up real wide and look at yourself and say, I am resilient and patient for the process of the journey. Here's what I need you to understand about this affirmation. You got to be okay with the process. Come on here. And while you're being okay with the process, you have to ask the Lord, I need some resilience for this thing because I'm being tossed to and fro. The clouds are coming. The rain is falling down and I don't have no patience for this thing. So Lord, I need you to honor me with what I need because what I'm going to be is resilient and patience for the process of the journey because God, I understand that you're pruning me for a thing. I understand that you have me in the refiner's fire. And so while you're doing a thing, while you're nipping here and tucking there, while you're pruning here and firing me up here, I have to be resilient and patient for the process of the journey. Why? Because everybody has to have a journey. Why? Because my testimony is great. I overcome by the word of my testimony. And the only way that I can do that is by being patient and resilient. Come on here for the process of my journey. Come on here. I can't get frustrated in my journey. I can't get angry with my journey. I can't turn my back on my journey. Why? Because only resilience and patience will get me through the process of my journey. Come on and look in that mirror. Open your eyes up real wide and say it like you mean it. Put some respect on that thing. I am and resilient for the process of my journey. Look, I want you to write that thing on a Post-it note. Come on here, because I need you to believe it when you say it. Write it on a Post-it note, stick it up on that mirror, and every single day say it until you mean it. Fake it until you make it. I am resilient and patient. I am patient and resilient for the process of my journey. Come on here. That's an affirmation if I ever.
That's an affirmation.
Yes, that's an affirmation. I want that for myself.
Come on here. Woo!
Yes.
Right on that one. My God. Woo, that was good. Right?
That was good.
Shit. Y'all do
Yes.
this every time with these affirmations. Good. I'm gonna write a book just with y'all affirmations.
With affirmations. You
I'm just gonna write a book on the affirmations.
365
Woo,
affirmation a day.
Good right there. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so now let's come on and get on into today's time. Listen, whoa, that thing got up in my bones. Come on here. Whew, all right, let's get into today's topic. And so the title of today's episode is Waiting and Worth It. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard sometimes when we're in our space of waiting to remember all of the reasons why it's worth it. Right. And of course, we know all of the biblical reasons, and we know all of the reasons that grandma said, and we know all of the reasons that the preacher said. We know all of the reasons that they throw at us. But when you're sitting in that space of loneliness, when you're sitting in that space of horniness, let's be real about that thing. When you're sitting in that space of watching all of your friends get married, and you're always the bridesmaid and never the bride. When you're sitting in that space of seeing it all work out for everybody but you, it's hard for you to understand or remember why it's so worth it to wait. Because you're saying, God, I've been waiting for so long. God, I thought I was doing this thing right. I don't understand. I'm sitting up in this service every week. And even if I'm not sitting in the service every week, I really am trying to be a good girl. I'm listening to what they're saying. Yes. I'm not out here running around. I'm really trying to grasp a hold of what they say the rules are, but it just don't seem to be working out for me. So what is so worth it about waiting? So let's start at the beginning. Come on, and y'all talk to me about dating as a Christian woman, as a woman who really is trying to do it the right way. Because come on here. Now, we know they always talk about there's plenty of fish in the sea. I want them to identify that sea. Because I'll go cast my net in that sea when you it is.
That's right.
The sea that I see, they ain't got no teeth, they ain't got no hair, they ain't got no eyes, they ain't got no they don't wear their clothes right. I don't understand what sea they finding all these fish in. Y'all come on and talk to me about dating, about the pool, about the men that we have to choose from, and about trying to maintain your standard and your value. Make sure we talk about that, your value as a woman dating as a Christian woman in today's society. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Who got first?
Who's going first?
Go ahead.
So, because you two are married, I'll talk about the dating pool that I'm currently sitting on the steps in, because it's the top tier.
Right.
What you say, 0 out of 0, don't recommend.
Right.
But when we talk about expectations, I got married young. And so I got married at, I moved in with my ex-spouse at 20, married in a few months. We married at 21. And we were married 7 years. And so coming out of a 7-year marriage, I never dated, for real. All I had was like high school, college relationships that, you know, so I had never dated. I didn't know what you do. I'm like, so what, do I slide in the DMs or do they do it? What we doing? Who's doing the DM sliding? Right. I ain't afraid. I'm not ashamed. And so, and that I have bumped my head 2 times, like on the biggest rock at the bottom of the pool. Just, you know, but it was because I had identified who I was as a Christian woman. I had identified who I was. And then every guy I had ran into was just like, take that off. And I was like, all right, you taking it off. And so here I am now where I'm just like, this is me. I can't take it off.
Got it.
It's all or nothing. This is me. And so I can say that courting, because it's what we call it, being courted right now it's so great, because the thing is, if we get to a point where we realize, hey, this is not it, we didn't taint each other.
Yes.
We
good.
didn't infect each other, and
That's
so
good.
when I say I am loving this skin, okay?
That's good.
Yeah.
This is a piece of the pool right here. I'm gonna stay right here and wait. So,
That's good. Let me address the other side. So I'm twice divorced, right? The first one, of course, that's my children's father. And I was just trying to prove a point, right? I was young. I had not embraced who I was as a Christian woman, right? I had not embraced who I am prophetically. I had not embraced who I was in any way, and that I was running from that thing. Y'all have that. I'm just gonna do me, right? Yeah. And obviously we see where that got me. And you did good, because both times I didn't make it a full good 2 years in either one of them good marriages. Okay, it just didn't work out, right? So, okay, it is what it is. Now that second marriage, this was like the godly man, right? This was the one that I counseled with all the pastors, his pastor, my pastor, the pastor back home. I talked to everybody, grandma. I got all the permissions, right? This was the man who he slept with his Bible. I'm like, yes, come on here. She did it right. Come on. Thought I was doing it big. Yeah, that thing didn't work out, right? And so then you enter this space where you realize, girl, you don't even have any value. You not only do you not recognize, you don't have any. You don't know why, because you've never taught anybody to value you, because you didn't recognize the value in yourself. And then I had to go through this long period of self-identity, this long period of learning who I was. Took forever. It was a very hard time for me, right? And during that period, here was the problem. I don't do well alone. I am a person who I feed off of companionship. I had to learn that about myself as well, right?
Yes.
And so although everywhere I went, everybody wanted a piece of me, it was always easy to get the attention of a man. They were everywhere. Everywhere I went, that was easy. Everybody wanted a piece of me, right? And I craved attention because I had not dealt with my past issues, my past hurts. This is why I teach this so much, right? And so if you were going to give me the attention, if you were going to give me the love, then I was going to take it. And so it was all of these unfulfilled situationships that then I had to turn around and live in the conviction of, because why? Well, now I realized who I am as a Christian woman. Well, that didn't work out in my favor because now I feel bad in the places that I didn't feel bad in before. So now I'm falling, right? Now I'm having sexual relationships that I should not be having with men who don't deserve me at all, right? And so then when I wake up one day and I say, all right, I'm done with that. And so, and I was good. I could be really, really done with that. And I could shut it down and I would just be really good. Until my baby daddy showed up. I'm gonna talk about it now. And so the baby daddy was my Achilles heel. I would be fine. I would not allow anybody to touch me, y'all, when I would get in these periods. Like, nope, I ain't playing with God. Nope. And then here come baby daddy. Here come familiarity. Here come the one who know how to touch you. Here come the one who know how to whisper in your ear. He know what right? Here I go. And now I'm stuck in this place. Why? Because I don't know how to be alone. And so where God has me now is, you gonna learn how to be alone. So my second divorce was final in 2015. I haven't been in a real relationship since. I've barely even been on a date for real. Like two phones, bone dry. This is the first time. I'll be 45 this year. I don't have a friend. Like, there's no friend, there's no dating, there's nobody to talk. Everybody has you have just somebody that you even just talking to, just a friend. No, there's nothing. Do y'all understand how difficult that is for a person like me who craves attention? I crave companionship. I just want you to tell me I'm pretty. I crave. And God is saying, I know you do. Sat down. Well, that's a struggle. What you mean? And then he did it so scandalous. He picked me up and plopped me down in the middle of nowhere. No. He made sure
you gonna sit down.
I'm gonna sit down. It ain't nobody around. It ain't nobody out
there. What was doing?
What we doing?
You gonna
sitting right there saying, you gonna learn today. I'm like, oh, come on here. And so it's difficult, right? Because it doesn't change the fact that now I can admit this, and this is very hard. I'm gonna say this out loud. It's very hard for me to say, but I can admit that I am lonely. I'm not alone. I understand the difference. I am not alone, but I am lonely. I am lonely for that companionship, right?
Yeah.
I am lonely for that person to talk to. I am lonely for that part of feeling special that you get when you have somebody courting you, right? When you have somebody telling you that you're beautiful and I am lonely for that, and it's hard. I understand the space that God has me in, but that don't mean I like it, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. I'm just sitting here like, Lord, but okay, I learned my lesson now. Can it be over? Like, and the thing is, I feel in my heart that there's kingdom marriage for me, but my mind has determined you done messed it up so many times that it's not in the books for you.
Oh, no.
And I know that's not
Do
true.
not dare let your mind ever tell you that.
Go
Can
ahead.
we stick a pin right there? Because before we started recording, when I said, well, we look for kingdom marriage, we look for perfection, we look for that perfect man, the ideology in your mind, the ideal in your mind that says, I've messed up and it's not happening. Yeah. And for me, it's like, I'm not even worth it. It's just, I guess I'll have to be by myself. And so that mindset is where sometimes we get stuck, because then we'll get up and we'll pray and God will, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and God will pour into you only for you to do this. Yeah. You pour yourself out. Yeah. You know, so
it's hard. Okay. Even when you, and the thing is, you know better, but it doesn't change how it feels, right? Like, you know better, but it's like, here, why? Because I'm still alone. Like, I'm still lonely. I'm still by myself. I still have nobody to talk to. I still have, it's one thing, y'all tell me, oh, girl, you so pretty. Y'all tell me all the time. I don't care when y'all tell me. You gorgeous. Y'all gotta tell me. Like, right, y'all better tell me, right? But that's different. It's different. You better tell me I'm pretty. I'm gonna accept it. But it's a whole nother ball game to have a man that you deem worthy. Let's be clear, because I was gonna tell you about that. You talking about your line dry, but can we talk about when it ain't dry and you just like, no, that part.
That part. No. Like, I would tell you right now that my husband is not. My biggest thing to overcome, and I know Queen attest to this one, is he is not who if I would have picked with my eyes. And not saying that he's not attractive. My husband's attractive. Don't take nothing away from him. And he's just not who all my experiences, all of my trials, you'll go through things. Some things you were meant to go through, because God's like, look, this is a part of your, this is a part of your journey. And then sometimes you make certain decisions that might put you in certain situations, and then you bump your head yourself. You just knocked yourself out because you was being hard-headed. But after all those different experiences, each time you take something away and you'll train yourself to look for something else. And if I would have just kept my eyes on, I would have missed my husband completely. Totally agree. Totally and completely. Yeah. And when you say, am I worthy, or like, did I miss out on my chance? I still remember to this day how lonely I was. And it wasn't like, you can be out surrounded by a bunch of people. I had a bunch of great friends. Yeah. I got, I had people that wanted to go out on dates and stuff like that sometimes, but here, just like, my goodness, the connection is just not here. And Lord, I'm the best, I'm the not best one, what you call it, maid of honor. I'm the maid of honor. I was the maid of honor in 4 weddings. Yes, you were. In 2 years. Okay. It was back to back to back. So I was watching what I had been praying for. Praying for. And I'm standing up. setting up, paying, you know, and planning and saying, when is my time, God? Like when? So
how long, Lord?
I gotta wait on this. And I will say, because you wanted me to speak to dating, I've made some huge mistakes dating just because of like certain circumstances. Like, for example, I'm gonna be fully transparent. I was raped in high school. That sets a precedent for where my life trajectory in dating went. So in terms of Christianity. So I was mad when I did that happened. I was a virgin at the time. So at the time I thought I was being real, like I'm gonna follow the right path. I'm gonna keep my virginity as hard as it is. We got the cute guy over here, the cute guy over there, but I'm gonna do it. And then that ended up happening to me. And from there, it became, I'm mad at God.
That part.
Forget this. I didn't try to care. I'm mad. So then I became like trying to get my power back. I'm gonna date him. I'm gonna date him. I'm gonna date him. People don't even know. And the whole time it had nothing to do with the person and what they were bringing to the table. It was all me and not being willing to submit to God's will for my life, honestly, because that, of course, me being raped wasn't a part of necessarily his will. That was something evil that somebody did to me. Right. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a part of my testimony, and me rebutting it so much put me in such a distant space from God that I started making all kinds of messed up decisions when it came to dating. And even when I get down to now, like the decision I made with having the child that I had, and I had to go back in my head and go, and my child is the biggest blessing. She saved my life. Yeah, to be honest, me having my daughter saved my life, and I had her out of wedlock, and her father, was one of the first people I was ever intimate with after I was raped. That's the first time I've ever said this, and I held on to that. Yeah. Yeah. For years. Yeah. You know, trying to take back that instead of thinking, let me invest in my value. Yeah, that happened. That indeed, like, I'm not gonna go grab my virginity back by dating this guy, you know, by sticking this out. So you have to be willing to, let me get back to the main topic. You gotta be willing to, in this dating world, no matter how many times you bump your head, no matter what happened to you, you could be raped, you could be abused, you could be, you know, then dated a billion people, whatever your situation is, if God got something for you, because this beautiful life I'm living right now, come on here. I can't say nothing but, come on here. And how'd you do this for me? And this is a new marriage. And yes, he ain't perfect and I ain't perfect, but it's worth waiting and letting God give you your person. Yes. I don't care what you've been through. It's very much worth it. And you're very much worth it, and the experience is very much worth it. Let me not take over it.
Alisha, speak to that, because I please speak to that, because I remember some of your story too.
Absolutely. So for me, just oh God, I can relate to all of that. But for me, I had to be okay with letting people go, and I struggle with rejection and abandonment. So it was hard for me to abandon someone, and the enemy would try to make me feel like, you're gonna do them how other people did. Yeah, you're leaving this person. And I had to be okay with leaving when I wasn't getting what I wanted, you know, or what I deserved. I'll say that. When God brought my husband, I had to totally let go of I'm not gonna say my standard, but my expectations. My expectations. I would have totally, like you said, I would have totally missed him. Even just the way we met.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Missed him. Like for real.
Totally missed him. If Alisha was picking him, I would have totally missed him. Even the way we met off Facebook. And this was something that I said out loud. I want to be clear about this. I said out loud and even thought I was giving some advice. I'll never meet somebody off Facebook. That's a cute story for y'all,
God,
but that would not
like
be
that.
my story. And he literally made me eat my words. And I was like, no.
God
no.
got the biggest sense of humor, man. You'll be
Sense
like,
of humor. It's like, just, it's like, that's why I said, don't be speaking before I tell you to speak or tell you to release, because you don't know what I'm going to do. And then people say that, like, not only did you date someone on Facebook, you made, that's your whole marriage. That's your whole
baby daddy.
Yes, full out married him. I was crazy enough to say yes, but when I say it's the best, and when I look at him, I'm just like, thank you, Lord. I mean, the way that God sent the confirmation for me, I was to the point, I remember I was sitting there and I'm like, if you miss this, that's just on you. You cannot blame anybody. I mean, confirmation after confirmation after and it was like, what are you doing, Lord? Like, what is this? And I didn't feel like, and honestly, for me, it was crazy because when I met my husband, I was fasting and I told God, I said, I'm done with dating. Don't send nobody. I don't want nobody to say nothing to me. When I go somewhere, don't just make them blind to me. I literally was in that space because I'm like,
you said make them blind.
Make them blind. Don't even let them literally walk past me. Don't let them open a door for me. Like literally, I was in that space because I'm like, the enemy, I mean, just the way that he did it, where it was like, I guess spoke it. I don't know what I did, but he started sending everybody that was just seeming like the one. And when you desire something like that, it's like, ooh, yes, them counterfeits come. Yeah. And so I was like, oh no, this, I don't even want them to even look at me. The way my husband came, he came as a friend. Literally, he came talk. He said, I didn't know you was a minister. That was his first question to me. And I'm like, who is this? Like, okay. But the way that he came, I'm like, okay, we start exchanging study notes. And literally he never even told me like, you're beautiful or anything like that during that conversation. Because if he did, I would have like, see, there it go. I'm out. There it go. I knew he was one of them.
The Lord knew how to have him come.
He knew. Yes. And so that conversation, it was so different. And I look back and I'm like, how did he get in? How did he get in?
Because Alisha, I'm gonna tell you, you had just been at my house not too long ago. Doing stuff, right? We had got together after the event or whatever it was. And like we had just been talking about a whole other thing. Like it was and I looked, I said, did she just say she getting married? Wait a minute.
Literally.
This can't be right. How is she getting? I don't even know who this is. It literally, y'all. It literally was that. Me and her was just talking about a whole other, and she was saying the same thing. Like, I'm done. I'm not even playing with it. I'm over it. Like, I'm done. Like, this is ridiculous at this point. And then, like, it probably wasn't this quick, but I promise y'all, it was like 3 weeks later. She was announcing that I was like, how is she getting married, bro? Like,
no, it could have been.
Who is?
Yeah, it could have been that long. Now, I'm not putting this out for other people to do this, but my story was my husband. Now he proposed, and I gotta be specific. We met on May 29th. He proposed June 27th.
So I'm not crazy.
God.
It was like
literally, it was same year. Yes. What? Literally, I'm like, it's not even a month. And I was crazy enough to say yes.
And she was like,
but literally the way God did it. Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like the way, like I said, the confirmations that came, it was like, if you miss this, and I was so caught up on time. I'm like, no, I need to know him for this long. I need to meet this, need to do this. And God said, I'm not even in your timing. I'm not in your, like, right. I'm not on your time. Yes, I'm not in your time.
Rules.
Right.
And when I say, I'm like, and people like, wait, well, I couldn't even tell some people the timing, because literally God was like, it was a warning, like, do not tell them the timing. They will speak against it. They won't understand it. I couldn't, I had, yes. And so I had to be so strategic with that and very discerning, but literally a month.
I knew I wasn't crazy.
You wasn't crazy.
I don't know who he is. I ain't never seen his face. She ain't told me nothing about him. She was just here at my house.
And it was like, boom.
That's because you blinked and I blinked too.
Girl, you like, I ain't missing my blessing. The Lord told me, and I'm saying, yeah.
We both blinked and it was here.
I was like, is she mad at me? I felt left out. I was like, maybe she mad at me. I didn't get the
It literally happened so fast. It seemed like it happened so fast. Now we did, go through, it was 8 months. We did the marital counseling and everything. So we didn't get married till March, but the way that God did it, it was it was accelerated, but it was him.
Yeah.
Each time, I mean, I'm telling y'all, I was looking for a reason to run. I'm gonna tell y'all that I was looking. I'm like, see, I knew I did it too fast, and God will reel me back in. He will reel. I mean, it was just amazing the way that I never been dated the way that he dated me. And it was uncomfortable. And I had to stay on my face. We had to stay in prayer. We even fasted together because it was so uncomfortable. I'm like, I told him this and he listened. And now we at the museum, and now we having a picnic because I just mentioned it. Like, and now we're doing these things. I mean, he would just set it up and sending stuff to my house. And I'm like, I know I ain't invite nobody here. Who knocking on my door? And it will be flowers and chocolates and beer. And I'm like, I never had this. Never had. If you let this man get away, then you beat yourself up at this point.
Right.
And let's talk about
self-sabotage.
Let's talk about because first of all, me and Kay is rolling our eyes at both of y'all. And if y'all lift y'all left hand up one more time, I'm gonna disconnect y'all off our
listen. So wait,
but let's talk about the uncomfortable place when what you asked for shows up and you don't know how to deal with it. Like, and I can't speak to that because it ain't happened for me. But I'm saying I ain't about to tell no lie. But what I'm saying is I've heard that so many times where it shows up, and I can speak to it in a different sense that has nothing to do with dating or relationships. But where you pray for a thing and then you get that thing and you be like, whoa, wait a minute. I was asking, but I was asking. It was almost like a yes, Lord. I didn't think it was really gonna
actually do it.
And so it comes and you like, whoa, this can't be this the devil. You won't cock out devil.
Wait, listen, like the way y'all kind of toss it to each other, I was sitting over here fighting back tears because I tell every episode now. For the first time, these lashes aren't magnetic, but this one is hanging on for dear life. Okay? Because I've been bawling since I turned 29. I've been crying. And so I was fighting back the tears because you talked about how unorthodox he is. And for me, I'm just like, they always start off great. They always start off everything you want them to be. But when it's 2 years later and they still chasing, they still trying, and you did some things. You all dirty, and they still like, let me get the mud off your. Let me wipe this mud off your face. I understand you've been in a pig pen, but you had to go through that way, and now here you are. Don't get back dirty now, because I'm about to wipe your forehead off. Don't go back where you got that dirt from. And so I'm sitting here because I was just telling Queen, I'm like, that's going to be a no for me. It's going to be a super no because it's not what not like you say, not that the person is ugly or anything, but it's not what I had in mind. And I remember God telling me to tear up my list. And I'm just like, well, can we just tear the bottom half
tear it up?
Can we piece it together? I keep this on the bottom right here.
Tear it up.
Actually, just tear it up, honestly, because you're just gonna get disappointed.
So listen, we tore it up and we tore it up and
then send away the great man that he got for you.
Right.
Stuff started coming that wasn't on the list. And so I'm like, all right, well, this is what he meant when I couldn't get everything. All right, I'll take it. And then you realize, put that in a recycle bin. Better yet, put that in the trash. That's not recyclable. But being in a place where you try not to self-sabotage because you find like when I say these last 7 days alone, I found several reasons to block and delete. And I'm like, God, why you didn't tell me this? He said, because he was going to tell you. But Lord, me and you got this thing going on where you warned me and you prepared
me.
The
Lord know you also looking for a reason.
For something. Yeah.
You looking for something wrong.
You're looking for
a
it.
reason. So when you look, you find. The way that the
You'll
Bible
find it,
says, seek and ye shall find.
You shall find
it.
Why do you feel like you were, I guess, give us more information about you said in the past 7 days. What happened in the past 7 days that
So
made you feel like that?
It could be the littlest thing, like you didn't call to say happy birthday first. Like it's just
But the
listen,
man has extenuating circumstances. That's why that can't even count.
So but
this is, and the man calls her at 6:30 every single morning so they can pray. 6:30.
Oh, honey, consistency. Okay, so that's one thing I will say.
Pray.
One thing I will say that says, and I don't know if that's everybody's husband, but one thing that I didn't even know I needed. That's the thing about lists.
Consistency, yeah.
Because you make this list like, I want him to be loving. I want him to be supportive. I want him to like to do the same things I like to do and be financially stable and all this other stuff. My man didn't have none of the same hobbies. Like, I'm trying to think, did we have one hobby? I really don't think we had. We might have had, no, like I really don't think so.
You just started picking up some of his hobbies and then
I picked up some of his
one or two
and
of
then
yours.
he did some of mine. We were not, but then I think it was the value here, our character.
Yep.
So it's really about who you are as a person and so the more you get in touch with who you are and tell God what you need. And even God knows needs you don't even know you need it. Like I didn't know I needed such a consistent, stable, like sometimes I'll be like, don't nothing phase you, or I don't get this emotional reaction from him, but I guess I'm the emotion. Like over here.
Both of y'all may be emotional.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I needed that rock of a guy. Yeah. You know? And so when you say, well, he didn't call or he didn't.
So no, it was deeper than that. It was deeper than that. It's just Queen. It's like if I could just put my little finger over her. And so okay, let's be real. Okay, let's be real. There are some circumstances. There are some boundaries that are in place, and somebody else posted a picture of him and was like, basically like, I love him. And I was just like, wait a minute. Now this is, and so I was like, you know what? See, because I'm done. Because I'm done.
But see, some women go claiming other women's husbands all the time.
You control what somebody else for. He didn't post it.
Wait a minute. Women do that in church all the time. They see a fine pastor and they be like, that's gonna be my husband one day. I love him.
Let me tell you,
and you be like, wait, he is married. Like you can't go claiming them.
So let me tell you how I knew. I realized that.
That's right.
Because it just so happened to be almost 12 o'clock right on the dot for my birthday. And we had just had this amazing talk. And I see this and I'm just like, you know what? We're done here. I'm gonna give you some space. I'll put you right back in the category. You go back to being a business partner, because I'm very good at when you put somebody in the friend zone, I will best friend you to death. You will be my best friend to the end. Me and you will never part. But there are certain things you won't get the emotion, you won't get the fire, you won't get the nurturer, you won't get all of the things that is deep within. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I made sure I text him and let him know that we just go. And the call I got was like, I'm talking about the 6:30 a.m. prayer end up happening at 7 a.m. because he was like, wait a minute. He was like, I told you. He was like, I told you I was shutting every door. He was like, do you not understand that I'm willing to fight for my family? And I said, I was just saying that I don't appreciate. You said one thing and I see another. And he was like, but I can't control what other people do. All I can control is me. And so if you give me some time to shut every door, I'm going to show you. Even if they don't think it's shut, I'm going to make sure that I show you that it's shut. And I'm just like, let's pray. Because I just,
And so here's the thing. Here's what's funny. And she mad at me and I really don't care. Here's what's funny. When I called her to sing her happy birthday song and she was saying all this stuff and I just, y'all know me, big sister. I just listened and I laughed and I said, because the problem is you in love. That's the problem, because none of this would bother
phase you. Yeah.
If you weren't, right? And that's the other part of the waiting that sucks, right?
Yeah.
When you realize that your heart is now vested in a thing that you're unsure of. talk about that.
Yep.
When your heart has now made the leap that your mind is afraid to make.
It's trying to catch up.
Come on here. When your heart has jumped all the way over a cliff and your mind and your body is still on this side saying, wait a minute,
guard
come back
yourself.
here. I didn't tell you to go over there. But now you're in love with a thing that you're afraid of. And you're in this waiting period. And you don't know if you're released to be in love. You don't know if God has said it's him. You don't know what's going to happen. Why? Because God just says, Abraham, I said go this way. Don't worry about the details. I'll do this later. And you don't know how it's going to go. Because here's what we know to be true. Sometimes it's a reason. Sometimes it's a season. Sometimes it's a lifetime. And you never know what it is until you know what it is, right? Yeah. Sometimes there's some very important lessons that we need to learn along the way. But our heart does what it wants to do regardless to whatever else is going on. And so what I told her yesterday is, baby girl, you're in love. I need you to go ahead and be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. You want to lie to me. Go and tell Kaylin the truth. You're in love.
So I've read through like some of our older texts through the years. I was very guarded, I don't want to use the term mean, but I was very dismissive.
Let's be very clear.
I was very dismissive. I was very guarded. So first off, when we met, I was married. So he was a business partner. We strictly business, not going to desecrate my wedding. I don't care if it desecrated itself.
Facts.
And so I was very guarded. And so even then I still was like, this ain't it. And so God sent a prophet to say, hey, listen, I need you to open your eyes because you're about to miss it. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna miss nothing. Like you said, I'm not gonna miss nothing because if it's from God, baby, it's gonna shine bright. And she was like, well, it's his circumstance that you're hesitant on. Yeah. And I'm just like, no, I'm talking about. And so when sister walked down my street, I was just like, okay, all right, Lord, you got to confirm it again. And she was
that's
like,
why when Keisha and Alisha said, if it was me picking, I'd have walked right past them. It has nothing to do with even physical. That's not it. But when I create my list and when I decide that this is what I want, when I decide this is what I'm looking for, when I take my clay and mold my man, that ain't what was in my box.
That's not.
But that's this is the part of waiting, and this is what makes it worth it. Because what you're molding in your clay might be what you think is what's for you, but what God is molding for you is what is become your perfect companion. He is molding your perfect companion. It's not a perfect marriage, but it's perfect for you, right? For you. He is molding what is perfect for you. And that's what you're waiting on. It sucks to wait, but that's what you're waiting on. Now, let me transition the conversation a minute before we take a break. Come on, ladies, let's talk about it, because y'all know the body of Christ and they flitty and they don't like to talk about stuff, but we have all of these young women, let's be very clear, and some old ones too, let's talk about it, who are out here struggling to hold themselves from fornication and some even from adultery. Let's talk about that thing, okay? They are struggling not to have sex outside of marriage. They are struggling even being married and having sex in marital situations, which that's a whole nother ball game. But it's in loneliness, bitterness, all of these things pushes. Come on, what I talked about earlier, familiarity. Let's talk about it. Let's be very honest about the things that push you into a situation that you now need to repent from, that you are now convicted about, that you now get up feeling shame and condemnation. Why? Because you knew better when you laid your tail down there, right? Seeking comfort, seeking companionship, because for women, 9 out of 10 times it's not even about the sex. It
ain't even about that.
It's not at all.
It is not about sex. It's about the sex for the man. For the woman, it's about the companionship. It's about wrap your arms around me. It's about hold me. It's about make me feel loved. It's about I don't want to be lonely. Even if just for these few minutes, I can feel like I'm not lonely. I know I'm going to be lonely when you get up, but that's okay. Give me these few minutes, right? For those few minutes, I forget who I am. For those few minutes, I forget what God told me. For those few minutes, I forget I'm a part of a promise. For those few minutes, I forget, right? Let's talk about it, because it's so many women that are struggling with that thing. For my married ladies, tell me what you did, how you did it, and let's be transparent, because at the end of the day, we know that there's a struggle. Listen, again, my baby daddy was the one who could make me fall. I was in a whole relationship with a man that did nothing. It was very easy for me because I was good, right? That baby daddy popped up and was like, right? I had to fall on my face, and then got up and was like, yeah, what I'm not about to do is allow myself to sabotage everything that I know God is doing for me, everything that I know he is pushing me into. And I'm out here preaching about divine destiny. I'm out here birthing women into a whole thing. What I'm not about to do is play with it. And that is what, that's what flip the switch in my brain. Queen, you got to stop, because you're using him as an excuse, and that ain't it. And when I put that part in my brain, right, I was able to get up and be like, no more. So let's talk about it, ladies.
Okay, so I guess I'll start it off. For me, before I met my husband, I fell a lot. I didn't realize the hold that spirit of lust had on me.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was molested, and so it opened that door, and it almost was like this hunger, like I have to feed it. I have to feed it. I have to feed it. It's calling out. I have to feed it. How do I not feed it? You know, and even when I was saved, like I got with a guy, I mean, you would have thought that he was just God's greatest. Just, you know, I mean, we did.
Jesus' best friend.
Bible. Yes, we started off doing Bible studies together. He bought me a Bible. Like he got me into this. When I say the devil pulled the cloth right over my eyes, because I'm like, I saw none of that. And everybody was telling me, like, watch out, open your eyes. You know, he's not, you know, he's manipulating and all of this stuff. Part. When I say I held out for so long, and I mean, he's whining, he's dining, he's bringing me stuff, he's taking me out, he's doing all of this stuff, he's reading the Bible, he's calling with scriptures, he's doing everything that I could have thought I wanted at that time, he was doing. And I'm like, I should have known, because the devil, see, this is the thing that I learned. When it's God, you're going to have to work through it. It's going to have to be some changing of your perspective. The devil, he give it right to you with a bow wrapped on.
Yeah, with a bow.
With a bow.
Yeah. Yes. I'm like, he's hitting every single mark. Okay, he listen, we end up having sex. And when I say it switched, he stopped answering.
Got exactly what he wanted.
And I mean, and then it was like, I started seeing he was really a narcissist. And God showed me this spirit of Jezebel. And it was the first time that I learned that a male could have the spirit of Jezebel in them.
Because we always misinterpret that it's about control.
Yes,
it's
about
control. What they teach you, it's about control. Yes.
And when I found that out and he really opened my eyes, it was like as soon as the sex, like it lifted. And I'm like, was I not praying or something? Like, why didn't I?
How did I miss this?
Did she? I just want to know, did she watch episode 2? Because like, she all in my business. Like, did you watch episode 2 before?
No, but I need to. Because when I was like, what happened? And I literally came back to God, and I was so brokenhearted, because before him, I thought I was good. I'm like, yes, I'm over this lust. I'm just good. It was about maybe 11 months. And so that for me was 3-4 years for me. That 11 months was the hardest thing, but I did it, and I was so proud of it. Like I almost, and I think that I started to idolize it. And that's why, you know, it really was like, it's not you. It was me covering you, but you put yourself in this situation. It don't matter how strong you think you are, you will fall. And I fell, and I was heartbroken, but that let me know you still need God. Don't you ever forget that. You still need God.
Yes, so holy. You so that I thought I need him every step of the way. That's it.
And that's what it was for me. And when I fell, I had to get back up, because it took me a minute, and I was beating myself up. And God literally, you would have thought he was right there in the room with me. He said, I forgave you. Get up and forgive yourself.
Yes.
And that's all he said. And I wanted him to be like, you know, just this father where he put me on his lap and cuddle me. And he said, I forgave you. Get up. And he took me to the mirror. I remember he took me to the mirror and he had me all these Post-it notes, and I had a picture of it. And people used to come over my house like, I love that. He had me cover the whole mirror with Post-it notes with affirmations. He said, "You're going to see yourself the way that I see you. You will not be able to see yourself the way you want to." And that changed me. When I looked and I wanted to pull one up, try to be slick, I would get so convicted. He said, "Now read that. It says, I am enough. I am chosen. I am anointed. I am worthy. I am yours. I mean, all of these things, all these confirmations, and nothing of it spoke about me being dirty or being, condemned or any of those things. That helped me. That helped me to get back up, because people don't really talk about it when they just kind of brush over it. Like, well, just don't do it. It's not a just don't do it. I be healing on the inside because this little girl was violated. And so that's what's coming out right now. This little girl who's still trying to grow up, and something was opened up inside of me that I didn't even know what to do with.
I was never supposed to be dealing with.
And nobody dealt with me. They
don't talk about that
during that time.
Talk about that.
So I'm like, this spirit is running rampant. This spirit is having its way in me, and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight it.
And what's so crazy is one of the people who violated me was one of the ministers at the church who I saw every single Sunday and still saw even after the fact. Right? Well, they don't like to talk about this stuff.
They don't like to talk about it.
I have all of these conflicting messages, conflicting images. You telling me hell and damnation if I do this, but this very same preaching that the very same person, right, is doing a whole other thing over here. So I'm all confused. And then now you've opened up my body to these feelings that I can't understand. It is natural for my body to feel them, but not right now.
Not now in this way.
11, right? And so now now it's natural for me to want. So now it's all of these things. I'm conflicted. I'm struggling with all of these things, and I'm trying to do it the right way. And so then when I fall, you want to condemn me. That I remember I had the conversation. I remember when I knew something was wrong with Kayy. I will never forget it, because I know her well. We talk all the time. And Kayy is like my ray of sunshine. Like, I just, every time I call her sugar, but she's like my ray of sunshine. She's always smiling. Her face is always lit up. I don't care if her hair done, if it ain't done. Most of the time I talk to her, she laying in the bed, I lay in the bed, but she is my ray. And when I was not hearing from her, I said, and y'all know how I am prophetically, and I'll sit back and I'll just start praying. I won't say anything because y'all avoid me when stuff going on. Y'all, that's what y'all do. This one right here, this teacher, y'all avoid me. You don't want to talk.
I know I do.
They know I can see it. I call on the phone. Everybody bursting in tears. I don't be knowing what's going on. Why you ain't just calling me? Nobody want to talk to me, right? They avoid. And so I knew something was going on. I text her, "You all right?" She gave me some vague answer. I said, she on some bull crap. Okay, I'm gonna wait it out. I text her another day. What's going on? Finally she calls me. We have a conversation, and my whole thing was, what I'm not going to do, number one, is condemn you, and number two, I'm not going to allow you to condemn yourself.
I'm
not going to allow you to allow anybody else to sit you in the place of condemnation. Why? Jesus got off the cross. That means you don't have to lay.
You don't have to lay there. Oh, Jesus.
Now, were you out of order? Do you need to get it together? Absolutely. Let's do that. However, you do not sit in condemnation. Why? Because there is therefore no condemnation.
No condemnation for those.
I'm not going to allow you to sit in that thing. Lay on your face, repent, get with your Father. He's the only one you owe an explanation to. Get in that place, do what you need to do, and now clean your house. Do what you need to do. Get your house in order. Get your mind and your heart right. Get up and let's go. Just like he told Alisha, get up. What you say? Get up. Get up. Why? Because it's work to do. Why?
You got work to do. Yes.
You want to know why you fail? Because there's somebody coming behind you who falling, and you're gonna be able to tell them, get up. Let's go.
Get up.
Okay, right? And we're not condoning the fall. That's not what this is. What we're saying is we understand the fall because we've been there, and you have to be able to get to the place where you say, this fall ain't my life. I can't keep doing this. Because there's greater for me. Why? Because there's greater in me. Why? Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And what I will not allow the world to keep doing is pulling me this way when God says, baby, I got something for you over here. Your destiny is divine. Your destiny is great. What I got for you waiting on this side is way more than this temporary gratification, this temporary satisfaction that ain't even really satisfying. Let's be real clear.
Let's be clear.
And then also, let's be very clear. Sometimes it's real satisfying. And that make it real hard to get your tail up and get back where you're supposed to be. But what we're not gonna do is sit in this place, because here's the thing that happens most of the time with us, and I'm gonna talk about us as Christian women. We fall in that place. The first thing we do is stop praying. Why? Because I'm ashamed. I want to hide this to you, Daddy. So I'm gonna do what even Adam and did. I'm gonna run and hide. I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna hide and cover myself up, because how dare I do this to you when you've been so good to me and done so much to me and poured so much into me, when you've allowed me to lay hands on the sick, when you've allowed me to preach freedom to the when you've allowed, how dare I? And so we run and we hide, and that's what allows us to sit in these places of captivity. So if you're listening and you're sitting in a place where a falling place, baby girl, young man, get up. Get up. All you have to do is get up. Listen, God already knows. Get up. Acknowledge your fall, get up, dust yourself off, determine that you're done in that space, and go ahead and continue your journey into your divine destiny. Now, listen, you can't keep running back to this fallen place. You sure can. You gotta determine that you're done. You can't keep running back there. You can't keep falling back and busting your head on the same wall. You're gonna have to come on here. Now, it's not to say you might not trip and fall again. We understand that. Different route. You gotta determine at some point that you're ready to walk into what God has for you. And then you might end up where he done picked you up and plopped you in the foreign land and all by yourself, and you can't even have no friend to talk to because you failed so many times that now you got to learn. Okay? Yes. That's all right too, because he got something for you. Somebody is saying something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna let Keysha go.
Go ahead. Okay.
Because I'm like, what? Y'all not ready. Just go ahead, Keysha.
No, go ahead, Kay. No, I want to know now.
Right. So Queen kind of walked up my street a little bit. And I wasn't even intentionally ignoring her. It was so much going on. And so the difference is that in the beginning, I didn't stop praying. When I failed, I was like, Lord, okay, I failed. I'm not gonna repent because I'm not done. And I'm like, Lord, talk about it. I'm like, Lord, I just need you to help me. I need you to help me be done, but I'm not going to repent because I'm not done. I'm not done. I don't know if I'm done. That's good. And so I'm like, I can't even bring myself to say, Lord, I'm sorry. Forgive me, because I'm not sorry in this moment. You wasn't there yet. I'm in a place where this is what I've always wanted. And so I'm getting what I wanted. And so I can't say that I'm sorry because this is what I wanted. Now, Lord, show me and help me to get back up, because I don't like what this feels like. I feel ashamed and I feel dirty. But at this point, I've been done dirty so many times in my life that the dirt don't feel so bad. And so I'm just like,
that's right.
I'm like, all right, and I'm communicating to him like, come on and be right. This ain't right, but let's do it. And so you get to a place where, like you say, once you done did the thing and everything stopped. Now you stop going to church. You stop. And I'm talking about the significant other. They just cut off everything. I call it the push-pull, right? Where they push in and they give you all that they got. And the moment they feel like you right in that sweet spot, they pull it all away. And so now you find yourself deprived of everything. You feel like you're drowning and you're dying. And so I get to a place where now I'm smoking hookah and I'm drinking shots. And I'm just like, and I'm talking about
completely out of this character.
When I tell you I was drinking, I had a bottle of wine about this big and a shot this big, and I was drinking. And then every time I took a sip, God will I was throwing up. And I'm just like, no, I'm destined to, because I just want to escape right now. And he's like, oh, no. Oh, no. You're going to have this conversation. And so I felt like if I could get drunk, I could tell this man what my spirit was saying. And God was like, no, you're going to do this thing sober-minded. And so, And so I told him, I said, listen, I don't think we're a good fit for each other. And when I said my hell broke loose, but when I tell you I was ready, I was ready. And so I just began to, okay, God, all right, I'm done. I'm talking about God made me drive 3 hours to go pray. I drove 3 hours away, 3.5 hours away from my home to hear him. And when I tell y'all I pulled up and he didn't speak, I was like, all right, Lord, you told me to come out here. And he did not speak. It wasn't until a few hours later, maybe I believe 3 hours later, he spoke. And he said, this is what you're going to do. This is what's going to happen. X. Now I want you to go wash your feet in the river. No, I'm sorry, the lake.
You can't give them too much of it. Y'all got to go listen to episode 2. Come on.
Okay.
Don't give them all episode 2. Y'all better go click it.
Listen, we
gotta go listen.
We reset, right? This is it. Now there's a deprivation on his end because he's so used to me just giving it and giving it and
everything.
Honey, no. And so we cut it off. And so one day I'm in the pool and I'm swimming and I'm just like, you know what, Lord, everybody messed up. And God is like, if you settle for what he's not, you're going to miss what this guy is.
Oh,
and I said, and this was before I even entertained said man. I was like, he ain't no better. And God was like, I'm gonna say it again. If you settle for what he is, you're gonna miss what he is not. And so at that moment, I'm really holding on to it because if it's, I'm really gonna grab the reins. And so as I begin to hold on and shift, now I've ended. I'm crying, I'm cleaning out my house, I'm doing all of this stuff. And this man is like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, proud of me. I'm brokenhearted. Like I just broke up with my boyfriend. Like this was, and he's like, no, I'm so proud of you because now you begin to heal. He was like, I understand that pain is just a purging of the things that you filled yourself with. And I'm just like, who do you think you are? You listen, you real close to get cussed out because my feelings is hurt. And so he began to read me. And so he was like, what do you think about us trying it before we buy it? I said, that's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. And he was like, well, if God said if God let us be together, then we can. I said, that's going to be a no.
They killed me with that one.
It's a strong
no. He said, forgive me for my ignorance. Forgive me for my ignorance because I thought that if God said yes, it don't matter about the paper or anything. I said, no, when God said yes, that means you go through the process.
You go through the process. That's
you go through the process.
That's how you get to covenant. That's how
you go through the process. And so he said, well, can you teach me what the process looks like?
That I can. All right.
And then I just say, I've been praying every day at 6:30 a.m. And when I say intentional prayer, like we've been praying to the point where when we're done praying, I'm still praying because God has took me somewhere, and now I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just. But that struggle to pull it back in, to pick yourself up. I called Queen. I was like, I'm dirty. I messed up. She like, you got to get up, and I'm just like you say, when it's good, you realize it ain't great, but you like it's better than what I. Let me be honest, it's better than what I had for 7 years. Let me be honest. I've been locked down since an early teenager. And I was promiscuous because I too was touched as a child. And so I remember my first time going to my therapist, I was like, listen, I don't know if it's the hoe in me or if it's the little girl in me that's looking for love. And that was my first statement to her. And she was like, from that moment, I knew that you were my client. Because I'm like, at this point, I don't got time to fool nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a hoe, because if I am, then hoe be it. But hoe be it. But I believe that it is the little girl in me that's looking for a type of love that's only found in family. And so I keep trying to make my own family with people that are too young to understand, because I'm still to understand that this is not how you get a family.
Okay, stop. Okay.
I'm done.
So here's what I need.
Okay.
I need confirmation from all of you that we can do a Waiting and Worth It part 2. Because here's what I'm understanding. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Here's what I'm understanding. Number one, we could talk about this all night. We have not done a break. We have not done the mindfulness moment. We're just gonna shut all that down for this episode. But we definitely need to come back and do a part 2 to this. Because number one, we need to speak to the violated woman. Right, because because some women just
so many of them
that they just think that they're promiscuous. They just think that they're a hoe. Right, they just think that they've been taught that you a Jezebel. I don't even understand that ain't even what the Jezebel spirit is. It's not what that
Jesus Christ.
It's not what it is. Okay, but because we were raised in such religiosity, right, and such churchianity, such traditions, right. Listen, your traditions have made the word of God of non-effect, and so we don't understand it for real. real. And so we need to speak to some of those things, because that's also part of what is making waiting so hard for so many of us, because we don't understand the process. So I want us to come back and speak to a lot, because all of us have been violated. All of us have been molested, raped, and listen, me has multiple times, some of us multiple times, like this thing all the way up and through, right? All of us have these stories, and all of us that can speak to that little girl that craved a thing that she did not understand, and then looked for a comfort, a void filler that she was never going to find. And so, and because of that, made decisions that led her into situations that she was never supposed to be in. And so we need to come back and talk about that. And then I also want to come back and talk about, let's define what kingdom marriage is. They talk about this all the time, but what is that? What is the difference between marriage and kingdom marriage, right? What does that mean, right? How do, for our married ladies, how did you know that you've been found? Right? Because he who finds a wife, and we get all these cliche stuff, all these women looking for Boaz. Let's define some of these things, because I need y'all to stop looking for Boaz. I just need y'all to stop.
For real.
Alisha, I really need you to break that down for them in part 2. I need them to
absolutely
out, because they don't understand, right? So when we come back, and then of course I want to hear y'all proposal stories. I want to talk, let's talk about some of that. So I think it's so cute. Let's talk about some of these proposal stories. Let's talk about the blending of the families. That's not always easy, right? Let's talk about the blending of the family. And then of course, it's just so much. We gotta come back for a part 2. So can I get all of y'all to agree that we coming back for a part 2?
I am in.
I'm in
for part 2.
Next month we'll come back for a part 2 to Waiting and Worth It, because this is good, y'all. I knew it was good. This is good. I looked at the clock and was like, man, we could have kept going for another hour. And so what I do want to do, right? So what I do want to do is, we definitely gonna have our breakdown. We done gave the people a whole lot of information, but we definitely gonna have our breakdown moment to let the people know what we're breaking up with this week. I'm gonna start. Let me tell you what I'm breaking up with, okay? Baby, Shaquini and Monique is breaking up with driving. I don't know who thought it was a good idea that I'm supposed to drive, because I personally think I should have been born with a driver. What these people do. Okay. All right. So I just drove to Texas. I just drove my family to Texas, to Dallas, to see my uncle. That was real cute. My whole daddy was in the car. He ain't drive, I drove. Now I was trying to be nice. He said, "You want me to drive?" No, it's okay. I got it. But baby, let me tell you something. I didn't want to do this driving. I don't know who think it's cute to be driving. I was yelling at those cars, "Move out my way," because I don't want to be on this highway. Then you got to go out, drive to the store. Then gas is $3,922.44.
Jesus.
Who want to be driving? I need a driver. The very first thing I'm going to do when God blesses me with my kingdom wealth and prosperity is hire a driver. I don't care if y'all talk about me. Y'all can call me whatever y'all want to call me. Y'all can
say she done got bougie on us now.
She done got bougie. She showed is. She gonna have a driver to drive her around. Shaquini and Monique ain't doing that. Driving for the birds. I am breaking up with driving. Kay, what you breaking up with, sis?
So listen, I was right up your alley with I was gonna break up with gas, but I obviously can't do that because I kind of need that.
Yeah.
You need that.
Listen, I don't know, but I think we can break. Better yet, I don't need it. My truck does. And so I'm going to break up with premium gas. Let me be very clear. Not just regular gas. I'm not E85 either, because whoever used that corn oil, I just want you to know you are blessed and highly favored. Now, if you got an electric car and you fanciful and you can plug your car up in your garage, girl, like a cell phone at night, I'm breaking up with you too. But it's the premium gas for me that's $6. It's like $5 and some change. It's the premium. It's the 20-gallon tank that sits in my driveway that I am breaking up with. I made a very honest statement. I said, "Listen, people hear me good. before you ask God for a luxury vehicle, because I didn't ask, He gave it to me. I didn't ask.
Consider it again.
I just wanted something to run. So this was a complete blessing. But before you fix your mouth to pray for a luxury vehicle, please understand, men and women, that luxury vehicle come with maintenance and gas. It is $110 every 3 days to fill it up. It is $1,100 for just the front and the front only brake pads. Do you hear me? It is $2,200 for a windshield and $199 for oil change. I need y'all to be specific. When you ask for that car, you better ask for some provision.
Right, you better ask for $340 to $5.
Come on, Lord, provide for the luxury vehicle that I'm praying for.
That I want.
Come on,
because I'm breaking up with it. Okay, that is the Lord's vehicle, and He is alone.
Kay say she's driving on Jesus. Come on, Alisha, what you breaking up with, sis?
Oh Lord, see, both of y'all was up in mine, and now I gotta pick another one because I'm like, these gas prices for me. This edge is about to be sitting on something. I don't even. But no, seriously, I am breaking up with these hairdressers that don't want to wash my hair, that want me to come wash and blow dry. I'm pregnant and I got towels and I want to come to relax.
They want you to wash your own hair.
Want me to wash it, want it to be blown out, and want it to be straightened, want it to be almost pressed so that they just do what like.
So what you do? What I'm paying you to do?
What am I paying you for? I am breaking up with that. I need somebody who gets just the whole experience, package, all inclusive. All inclusive is what I need. Okay.
You want a 2000 experience. I believe in 2000 people were still washing and drying your hair.
Yes. In the basement.
We're gonna take it back to the 99 and the 2000.
In the basement where they got the products.
I want the basement.
I'm bougie. See, I'm not even bougie. I will sit in your basement, wash my hair.
Yeah. Keish, what you breaking up with this?
I'm breaking up with all this takeout I've been ordering because wifey has not been doing her wifely responsibilities. I just been ordering takeout and organizing it in the refrigerator, thinking that I did something. You know, I'm like, babe, look. And I know he like, now I knew when I married you, you could cook. So why we gotta do
you ain't over there cooking for this husband, not me.
I on a occasion.
And lately, it's just been, I think.
Listen, Keisha, I feel you. I'm sorry. I just sometimes.
Well, it's just the overwhelming when you go to the grocery store, like it become a 3-hour experience. Then you get home, then I gotta plan these meals out. So I'm gonna break up with all this between it's nice takeout. Now I don't be hitting
luxury.
I get them the
luxury
takeout. The good one. Yeah, the 5-star takeout. I love it.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to stop because I'm starting to get a shit. Because at this point I was like, why I got this many to-go boxes in my refrigerator? So that's exactly what I'm about to do. As soon as I get that, I'm gonna give you some healthy food and plan us some good meals over here.
Good.
So he can be
I'm with it. I'm with it.
I can't with the luxury takeout.
I'm gonna go get my takeout out the car soon.
The luxury takeout is good. It's hidden.
So I'm gonna need Kay and Keisha to set Alisha up with the hairdresser who gonna go and wash and blow dry her right on. So you understand? So she can be fabulous. I don't have no couple problems over here. I just throw these rocks on around.
I want to go nip. I want to go nip.
I'm gonna need y'all to get this together so she ain't got to be bothered with it. Then I need y'all to all carpool to go pick up Kay so she can leave her luxury truck in the driveway.
For real.
And then we can take me to get some groceries.
Start her truck. It costs $50.
Because I definitely started juicing. So I can help you with healthy, okay?
Yes. Y'all gotta put it together.
Yeah, see?
I just ordered my little protein shake.
Together.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it together.
Listen, this has been absolutely amazing. I want to thank all of you for being here on this show. This topic is one that is near and dear to my heart, and it is one that so many women can glean from, because we go through this, y'all, and I don't care if they don't want to talk about it. We have to talk about it. That's why so many women stay stuck in the place of this pain, stuck in this bondage, right? with these shackles on because we don't want to talk about it. We condemn them and we make them feel like there's no turning around and there is no getting up, when really, sis, all you got to do is get up. That's all you got to do. And so we're going to talk about this thing again. We are going to bring these three back. I am so grateful that all of you came. Do any of you have any closing remarks for our listeners?
I just want to say this has been such a blessing, I think, for me, just hearing everybody else's experiences. And I'm really looking forward to part 2, because it's just crazy to me how everybody on this call has been through some type of assault. A lot more. And so it's so many other women out here that probably have been and been silent survivors and going through life and haven't really put it together. And I'm really looking forward to the next episode.
Absolutely.
My final thoughts would be dating isn't sex.
That part.
So have fun outside of the house.
Have
fun outside of the bedroom and enjoy it. And don't tame each other, because if it don't work out, guess what? You free.
That's right. Yes. And my final remarks would just be to love on yourself, really truly get to know you. I think that was the best thing that I did during my single season, was date myself. I bought myself flowers. I went by myself to the movies. I went out to eat by myself, and I really did those things that I was desiring. So date yourself, really get to know you. I would say that's my closing remarks.
And forgive yourself too.
Forgive yourself. Yes, for sure.
Have that one.
Gotta do that.
That's it. Too. I love it. Ooh, y'all valuable. Y'all
give yourself grace.
Y'all so valuable. Thank you all again so much for gracing breaking up with bondage with your presence. I knew this would be good. I knew it would be valuable. And I know so many will learn and glean from this episode. I can't wait until we do it again. I'm super duper excited about it. Listen, if you ever need me, y'all already know what to do. Listeners, listen, subscribe, like, share. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching it on YouTube or listening on Apple or Spotify or iHeart or any of the other major outlets that the podcast is playing on. You have to hit that subscribe button so that when the new episode hits, you will get alerted right away. I love you all so much. This has been Breaking Up with Bondage, the podcast with your host, Shaquenia Monique, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.